Pump it.
Okay, I think we're going to get started. We've got the debate at 8 o'clock, and I don't think any more people are coming. I think some people will be leaving before 8 o'clock to get back for the debate. So I'm Michael Cantwell. I think I know pretty much everybody. And we have two speakers tonight. Dr. Marc Lafalaise, who's a therapist, and Philippe Augustine, and they're going to tell us about the Haitian-American experience. This T-shirt that I picked up, "We Invented Liberty," in the mid-19th century. They did. They threw out the French colonial power. And they've been paying for it ever since. You don't screw with colonial powers. So, okay, Dr. Lafalaise.
Yes, sir. It took us 60 years after Haiti did it for us to end slavery.
Yeah. De nada.
Good evening. My name is Marc Haitian-Lafalaise. I am a native of Haiti. I was born there, but I came to New York at 14 years old. So I grew up in the city of New York, beginning from Crown Heights and moved to East Flatbush. Then end up in Park Slope. And after which, and during the, I was watching TV and then being involved, being an activist, because I did study social work in New York at the time. And I saw the plight of Haitians that were coming here during the Manuelitos. I don't know if you remember those days, 1979, 80, till the last end of Jimmy Carter and beginning Mr. Reagan. Excuse me, Mr. Carter and Mr. Reagan, because I said Mr. Reagan, Jimmy Carter. Yeah, you have to be respectful to all of them. So then I became more involved because my mom, who happened to only have, I would say, beyond eighth grade education. And I saw my mother going to different meetings all over the place, like education, the Board of Ed, she's there, and activism. And I said, Mom, what are you doing with that? What does that worth? My mom said, hey, petit boy, my son, in this country, if you don't get involved, you're not going to get anywhere. So I like to believe I took after my mom, and I became an activist. So when I came to Florida, I was a school psychologist in Dade County public school system first, and I was a school psychologist in New York, first of all, and I was the second Haitian that had this title of. It was Dr. Cesar and Dr. Lafalaise, and that's me. And I went to Dade County, and when I went there, I gave up a job in New York to work to come down here working for $22,000, just to be able to serve what I would say my own people, okay? But when I came here, I never thought of myself as a Creole psychologist. I always thought of myself as a psychologist, I would like to be a Freudian, Albert Ellis, and then say, hey, what do you do? I'm a psychologist, CBT and all that, But when I came here, I realized then who I was, because I never thought of myself, maybe if you call me a Haitian psychologist, maybe I would go along with it. But I wasn't a Haitian psychologist. I studied Long Island University, So suddenly when I came here, I realized, hey, you are put into a little corner and remind you that who you are. Mm-hmm. So it's very difficult for someone like myself who grew up, I would consider myself who grew up here, even though the accent remained, and then I would blame my mother for the accent. Because at one time I stayed away from speaking to Haitian people. Will you believe it? I stay away from that. I pretend to be you know, like I would probably identify as African American than really be Haitian. So I went through this process. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So the reason why I brought this as an example for you is for you to understand what the Haitian youngsters are going through in this system. I had the afro at one time. You know, I had those big shoes with the big, what do you call it, platform shoes. Remember those days, platform shoes? And then I wore that. And then, of course, I had a great experience with Haitian. I was on the subway of New York, being cool. You know, what the American call being cool. I had a nice cap on, velvet cap, my pants, what they call, you know, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, I thought I looked good. Believe me. Look as good as Mr. Philip back then, you know? and Mr. Guerrier, how you doing? And that's one of my friends here, okay, right here. And then I thought I looked great, sir. And I'm standing there, you know, and I pretend that I'm not Haitian, okay? I'm standing there, I put my cap on, I have my dark glasses, and I'm standing in the corner, I'm like, you know, and then this old man keep walking by me. He went back this way. He went to walk, and I thought, I said, Lord, maybe this guy is lost. You know, because he keep looking at me. So finally, I got the gut, you know, I mustered all the energy in me. I said, just like that, yo, man, what's up, you know? And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I said, what's going on, man? What's wrong? What's wrong? You know, I talk like that, so he wouldn't pick up my accent. So, what's wrong, man? You know, anyway, he went and says, oh, I'm sorry, sir. And he went back, I said, and he looked at that, I said, Sagay, man, I knew it. I knew you couldn't hide from me. I know you could not hide. I knew you were Haitian. And I said, wow, Jesus Christ. I said, I could not hide from who I was. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Those of us who are of African descent, we cannot hide. It's easy to be picked up. The way we look, our lips, our nose, my accent. So being Haitian is a very tumultuous event. I would explain it that way. But coming here in Florida is very tough. You have a people that are very proud people, as you said before. The only pride that we have is that we were the first black independent nation. Yeah. And then we dare to say anyone who feel oppressed, you touch the land of Haiti, you are a free man. That's our thing. Am I right, sir? No. No, I'm not going to do this guy, but okay. So being a free man, and then being a free country, that's all we have. And I used that a lot when I was in New York. People picked on me, you black, this, you HIV. I said, yo, man, at least I'm free. I'm free. And being free means a lot to Haitian. Having to belong to the nation, you know, and then, but we were never accepted. We've been punished for this independence that we seek. The only thing we want is be free. But we have been, as a country, under an embargo since 1804. And this embargo continued. Bad school, no economic development. We have things that we call minerals, gold. Yeah, but there's what you make the battery with? Iridium, I forgot. The battery on your telephone. Lithium, yeah. So we are two places on earth that carry that minerals. Rwanda, in the parts of Congo, that you know people are killing over that, and we have that in Haiti too. And yet we are poor. What explains it? Why do Haitians come here? Well, just like any other immigrants, you know, we're seeking economic, better economic state, you know, for our kids. That's what we come here for. But we still we identify with our mother nation called Haiti. No matter how cool it is, you know, you find a lot of Haitian here. A lot of people don't know about Haitian. We may be living in one of your neighborhood, in your shanty town, but when you go back home, and see the home that we possess. I know this guy, Mr. Gary, has one of those big homes too in Haiti. And then, you know, if you look at Dr. Lafalaise's home, 7 or 8 bedroom, 7 bathroom, you know, that, you know, you say, my God, you don't have that up here, am I right? But yet, even though we cannot go back, but we have that nostalgia. So, being the culture of Haiti, we are one of the black, I would say, nation who remain very close to Africa. Not that we want to identify as Negroes, you follow? But we kept the culture, the mores. If you go to Haiti, you go to the countryside of Haiti, you still see the African woman there in Haiti. I know you heard that about the French, you know, the French experience. You know, like me, I have a name Lafalaise. Lafalaise is not a Creole name, it's a French name. And then when I was in Europe, and I heard in French radio, the Duke of Lafalaise. I didn't know I was from a family of royalty. Yeah. Dutch, man, you know, oh God. And then, so, but then I pick up a lot of pride. You know, I said, well, yeah, this is my master's. Came from high up. But yes, we have a culture. And then we like to believe that we have a pretty good culture. You know, we have values, we believe in hard work. And I always ask myself, and I ask Philippe, I ask Mr. Guerrier, why is it that Haitians are so hardworking? We come here, we do well, even though we may be called illegal immigrants and all kind of names, and yet we are very productive here. We own houses in Delray, Lake Worth, Palm Beach, everything. Economically, we do okay, and yet back home, we don't do as well. Is it about being the man Haitian or the lady Haitian? No, it's not what it is. And I had a concept. I said, America represents to some of us Jerusalem to the Jews. I said, what it is that when we are back there, we believe America is the land of opportunity, the promised land. So when we are coming here, it seems like our mind changed. You know, the way our mind process, the way we process information, the way we think, you know, it's all changed. And we're willing to accept things that we would not accept back then. So when we come up here with a goal in mind. Is to be better than what we're leaving behind. So when we come here, we don't see ourselves as either, I would say American, African American. We come here just to work. You know, it's now that we begin to understand what political power is, and then we begin to get involved in politics. So if you want Haitian to go out and vote, so that's what we want to talk tonight. You got to find them out. You got to go to them. And also you have to produce something. Why would I vote for someone that didn't do anything for me? Mr. Scott came to us and said to us, oh yes, you know, the Haitian community need a community center. Yeah, so the Haitian said, yeah, we need a community center. Yeah, we're going to do work on immigration. We're going to do this for you. Even Mr. Trump did that in Little Haiti. So the Haitian, you know, if you don't have anything, this guy come to you and said that you're going to vote for him. But Haitians are not voting for Republicans because they're Republican. They are not Republicans. And what I want you to be aware of, a lot of them, when they want to become citizens, as they are being sworn in, taking the oath, there are people out there asking them to sign NPA on their phone. They don't even know what it is. So because a lot of Haitians, when they go out to vote for the primary, they say, you cannot vote. They say, well, how come? But that's when they realize the NPAs. So meaning, I know NPAs for you mean something different, but NPAs to us, a lot of times is lack of information. So when you talk to some Haitians, you gotta inform them. Mm-hmm. You know, what party you want to belong to.
It is a lack of information because you can't figure out whether you want to be a Democrat or a Republican. You lack information.
That's right. That's right. So for those of you who don't know Haiti, Haiti is about 600 miles from here. And then it's, our Mr. Christopher Columbus discovered the island in 1492. And we became independent in 1804. And then we comprised only a third of the whole island. And then they thought they were giving us the worst part, keeping us in the mountains. But the mountains is one of the good part nowadays, because we are above sea level. When before the hurricane get to Florida, if you go through Haiti, then you don't have to worry about being wiped out, like you see the other day that happened to Bahamas. Because Bahamas is flat. But we're also known to be our religion. And there are a lot of myths and things that have been said about Haitian. In Haiti itself, the Catholic Church used to be the dominant church. But now I've been observing in really, you have the Protestant church now. The so-called evangelical. They move there, they go there and then teaching a different type of religion. Meaning what? For you to be saved, of course, you know what you have to do. But then, it's like if you pray and close your eyes and then God is going to give you this and give you that, which to me, which is very dangerous. Because if you don't work, you're not going to produce. At the Calvinists, you got to work. But I don't know, this type of religion, they preach to the Haitian, even though themselves, they are hard workers here. But they go down there and teach this type of approach to religion, and not the traditional Protestant church like the Baptist or the Adventist or the Lutheran church, but they have a new movement, like charismatic and evangelical, and then they tend to be very, very judgmental, I would say. And there's an orthodoxy about them. So a lot of Haitians join that church. And in those churches, the pastors is like God. So even though the guy may not be an educated man, it doesn't matter. Because he received his messages from the power there be. So now, in here, in Lake Worth, Palm Beach or Miami, wherever, Orlando, these pastors, they have great influence on its flock, on the mass of the people. And I believe there's a way we can, not really fight, but we can penetrate, you can access these churches. If you call a meeting, they're not going to come. And you know why, because sometimes even I myself, I've seen it. If they come to the meeting and then now myself and Mr. Guerrier, Mr. Philippe, and Mr. Lafontaine, and so and so and so, we begin to have a highly sophisticated conversation about politics and stuff. So the tendency is to be very quiet, not participating. So I think we have to find a way to go to them. So what I've decided to do right now, I'm going to start, if it's okay with the Democratic, the DEC, what I want to do is take the church, take the club to them instead. Yes. Not having club meeting at a restaurant, eating pizza, but rather find at a church, at a social gathering, or some the way I can access them. That's what I want to do. I know we have the debate after that. I don't want to keep you for so long. No. I have Mr. Philippe Augustine. His name is Augustine back there. Mr. Philippe Augustine used to work for the Obama, not the administration, but Obama campaign. Mm-hmm. So, and then he has worked a lot with Haitian. So he understands the dynamic going on. So I just want him to say a few words. And if you want to, you can ask him questions. Mr. Philippe, come forward. Yes, sir.
You have, while he's coming up, you have this amazing advantage of not only being a Haitian-American, but also being a New Yorker Floridian. And would you say that the Haitian experience in, up north or in New York is different than it is here in Florida? And if so, what are those differences?
For me, it was different.
Salary, for one thing, he said that.
Well,
He made
I-
22,000 down here, I don't know what he made in New York.
I asked him.
Yeah. But the first experience I will tell you that it is highly important to underline this. When Mr. Guerrier, Mr. Philippe, and I, as youngsters, we left Haiti, our parents were running away truly from not only economic but political oppression. And you have a different group of Haitians that used to come, that emigrated to New York and New Jersey, Connecticut and Boston, and etc. Those Haitians, they have a different experience because they were educated. They were the lawyers, they were the doctors, teachers, infirmiers, nurses, right? The nurses, and they were the ones that were there, that were up there, the first group. So the experience was different. They're different. So when I went up there, for example, my uncle was a lawyer. But guess what he was doing for a job? He was working in one of those big hospitals, Kings County, mapping the floor.
Yeah.
My doctor friend was a doctor, and I can give you, I don't want to give you name, but guess what? He was working in one of those big factories called JFD. So, sir, to answer your question, the experience was different. Even though we were angry and bitter and everything, but it was a process we went through, but we came from a family of not really, I would say the middle, not the upper middle class, the middle class in Haiti. So we were differently. The pride was just there. And then when we came to New York also, we were known to be the people that committed the less crime. And we were the blacks that were the most educated blacks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our commissioner with us, our mayor of Palm Beach, and I'm very proud of this man. I've observed this man last 2 weeks during the hurricane. His performance was above anything that I could say, and I'm very proud of him. Because, and I think you are a model, sir, a positive model for our young people. And I think we have someone that we can emulate. Not only the man is articulate, the man, appears to be a very good administration and also project good plan. And to be able to, and I think we all feel secure, whether you're white, black, because the man never referred to black. And I was observing him. Never had a Freudian slip or anything like that. Say, oh, wow, black people. No, he did not say that. He presented, you represent the people. Thank you very much, sir. I apologize, I don't want to single you out, but as my leader, but it's exactly, that's the point. So really, this man, because I've been in Palm Beach County, and we started a lot of movement that Mr. Bernard may not know. Like, for example, the Haitian Center for Family Services, and which also the Haitian Women Organization, which was coined by my ex-wife, Dr. Lafalaise, which is also a Dr. Lafalaise also. But a lot of people don't know what happened before for them to get where they are. So that's a true fact. Am I right, Mr. Guerrier? Because the only person they seem to know is Daniela. No, they weren't down in Daniela. There were other people, and this man is one of him and Mr. Jacket. So we are very proud of him. So that's what we do. Yes, sir. So, sir, yes. The experience that we have was a little bit different than what you are dealing now. So yes, the income, for example, when I left New York in 1987, I was making for my salary $47,000 plus I worked per session. I don't remember that word, per session, which means I work hourly in the afternoon. I was paid $25 per hour. So I was producing these cases for the board. So I took 1 hour to do them. You see, so meaning. The salary was like $60,000, and I gave that up. I took a job here for $25,000. So a lot of Haitians don't know the sacrifice made by a lot of us to come here to try to educate the Haitians. So there's also a class system. In Haiti, the class is very severe. Meaning it's very stratified in such a way, you know, and I think you probably before you come in, you read about the Haitian class system. It's economics, but it's also, you could be poor and still have people that you dominate over. So yes, sir. So and that happened, and a lot of sometimes some of our kids, you know, that are street kids, they were not really given a formal education. You want to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, they were not really giving a good formal education, so they're the one that become that they exploited. For example, the HIV, a lot of with the HIV, it wasn't really the so-called family man, a Haitian who from age the 30s to 40s, 50s were having HIVs. It wasn't really the young. And also, when we're dealing with issues like values issues or sexual and gender issues, so the Haitian, as a culture, as a country, they were not really homophobes, but they don't talk about things like that. So you may find people that maybe that have, you know, maybe gay, for example, but they ain't gonna tell you that. So when that happened with the influx of Haitians during the 1980s, and they find a few Haitians in Puerto Rico that have HIV, and they ask him, "Were you doing this?" "No." "Are you so and so?" "No." "So well, have you been using drugs?" "Blah, blah, blah." "No." So they said, "Oh, Haitian are a special group." "Oh, it's a special group." No, it was so suddenly the HIV label is put on the back of us, and we had to carry this until we were able to go to New York and put 1 million people out there on that Brooklyn Bridge. So then they recognized that we were a power, a dominant power. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, but that brings up an old joke. It wasn't very funny, but for young gay people growing up at that time, one of the funny joke was if you got HIV, the hardest part was explaining to your parents that you were Haitian.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I got you. Okay, Mr. Philip, explain to them, you know, and also Mr. Bernard can concur or not. Mr. Bernard, the question is, how do we get our people, Haitian, to be motivated to vote, to get them to go out and vote for any candidate to vote? That's Mr. Philip is going to say that work in the campaign for Obama campaign. He's going to attempt to do that, and then after that we.
Okay.
Go ahead.
One thing though.
Yes, sir.
When you asked that question, when you were talking before about Scott
Right.
and the community center, you know, I think that what you're saying, that's what we have to do. We have to
Exactly.
come to the community. We have to show that even if the policies the Democrats support, broadly speaking, are more helpful to people, and especially
Exactly.
to people of color and people who have been oppressed and discriminated against, you know, if we're not in the community, you know, when Trump said, you know, why, if you keep voting the same way,
What do you have
you
to lose?
expect the same result. I mean, take a chance.
That's right.
They didn't vote for him,
That's right.
but they didn't vote for Hillary either.
Either.
Too many people, and that's our mission over the next 13 months.
Yes,
is to
and
get out
we
and
have-
prove that there is a reason to vote for us.
Well,
Yes, sir.
just all I was going to say to that is that, yeah, you know, within the circle of elected officials, transactional politics goes on all the time. But it doesn't necessarily, at least from our party, it tends not to go on in terms of the retail politics of engaging the citizen, the citizen voter.
Yes, sir.
The mission, and I think Mike already said it, is to frame out values in the form of a transaction. That this is what you will get.
If you, exactly.
Right.
And lastly, and because I want you to speak because I know the time is running. Lastly, what I want to tell you is this. What are the issues that we concern about? You have to know, for example, immigration, right? We would like to be able, okay, we want to play the game, so-called legal game. We are doing it. But if I send for my brother, for my sister, whatever, and I waited for this so many years to do it, And when you know, we want to be able to call Mr. Cantrell. No, Mr. Cantrell, you know, I need you to call the American embassy for me because they are not really being fair. A lot of Haitians are complaining they don't get that from the so-called politician.
Yes.
Mr. Bernard is a local politician, meaning, you know, it's countywide.
Right.
But we're talking about national politicians, which is the congressmen, the senators. You know, so if we want the Haitian, there are issues that we involve. So the issue of immigration. So that's something that we really help. You know, in healthcare. So that's for me. If you go there and talk to them about it, and we don't have to talk about values issues, such, you know, that we said before. But these are the issues they're concerned about, and we gotta sensitize them about that kind of issues. And I believe you will be successful. They'll come back to us again. Yes, sir. All right.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. My name is Philip Augustin. I'm just going briefly. I left Haiti and I moved to Montreal. And from Montreal, I moved to Boston. And my first opportunity I have is working for the governor of Massachusetts, Michael Dukakis. And when the poll was very tight, and that's when I learned the Republican always got something in the state.
Yeah.
And everybody who's known, who's been there for so long, we know Willie Horton.
We want tonight.
Anybody knows who is Willie Horton?
Oh, sure.
Willie Horton.
Oh, yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So
George,
Michael Dukakis lost because of Willie Horton.
yes.
So that's correct. Okay? That's exactly. I moved here in 2002 and opened a Mako franchise. And then when in 2006, 2007, I had a chance to be one of the first person to get involved with Senator Barack Obama. And I was talking in the radio, talking about it, and everybody thought I was crazy. They thought I was in drugs. But I know what I want, and I fought very well. One of the things I want to mention, my background, I'm an accountant by trade. I was working for the Diocese of Massachusetts. When I start working, they teach me about church, how to get people inside the church. I went to one of the Haitian church. One Sunday, I signed 75 people. So you're talking about a lot of Haitians who've been living over here. They never vote. And I think we have a responsibility to go out there and look for the people and make sure they vote.
Yes, sir.
What President Obama had, he always got that war. Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. We lost those three states by 78,000 votes. And we lost them because a lot of African Americans, they decide not to go vote. I will not say the Haitian people, they are monolithic, but most Haitians, they vote Democrat. But because of the issue with Hillary Clinton, in terms of getting involved in the politics of Haiti, you find a lot of Haitians change in 2016. I think if we send a message about healthcare, immigration, wages, if people, they're not afraid, they're not going back to Haiti, if people know they have a government that's coming who can help them to keep going with their TPS, I think we have the best opportunity. One of the things I don't want the Democrats do, I know we have a big debate tonight. Remember this country, the founder of this country, always making electoral vote. We can win all the popular vote, but we're not going to be anyone else. Right. So we have to get the people who can elect us, who can get those states, and then bring a strong message. And then I think that's the key for us to get back. Not only the White House, we need to get the Senate too. We have to fight to get the Senate. That's very important. Because what the Republican is doing right now, they're more focused to change the judges, and you can see what's going on right now in this country. And that's going to be changed for I mean, you're talking about
20.
1 or 2 generations. So we have to work hard, and I dream today, and I'm on, and that's what I want to say for you today. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Mayor Mark Bernard, Mayor of Palm Beach County.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mac Bernard. I have the pleasure of serving as the mayor of Palm Beach County, and I was born in Haiti, raised here in Delray Beach, and so I've been here in Delray Beach for 33 years. Dr. Lafalaise asked the question, like, how do you really get the folks to vote? First of all, you have to understand that most people, I would say most black people typically vote based on, they vote based on making history, and they vote when they're mad as hell. And so, but you have to be able to create a rhythm that gets them excited to go out and vote. And if you don't create that rhythm, they're not gonna come and vote for you. And, like you were saying, that in order for you to get, like for instance, a couple years ago, not a couple years, last year, in the governor's election, in the primary, the reason why Andrew Gillum won was basically, he really created that rhythm that the people needed to see in order for them to win, in order for him to win the primary. And if you don't create that same rhythm, then we're not going to win in 2020. And so whoever wins the presidential, wins the primary, the presidential primary, after March or something like that, they're going to have to start creating that rhythm to get the people to be excited to go out and vote. And like in 2016, the rhythm did not exist at all. Like people thought that it existed.
We made assumptions.
But it's assumptions, like, because when because rhythm. Like, if you're a grassroots person, you know exactly when there's rhythm. Like, for instance, if you drive through like the northwest, southwest neighborhoods and you don't have no signs, you've got no rhythm. And I'm being serious. So that's kind of like what happens is like, you've got to create that rhythm, and if you don't create that beat, and then people get excited, you can create the best policies, but if you don't have that rhythm where you have these these young kids to go out and vote, they're not going to vote, period. In the Haitian community, you've got to be on the radio, you've got to be at churches, you've got to be knocking on doors, you've got to create a bunch of stuff to get the people excited and to go out and vote. And so what I hope is that, we learn from the past in terms of what happened in 2016 and then in 2018, and then so now we're in 2020, when we're having the election, whoever wins the primary, it's not just about the issue. Create the rhythm, get the people excited, and you've got to carry it straight through. And when you start that rhythm, makes a big difference. Like, when do you start it? You can't start it today. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure, you've got to know when you've got to start building it up and then building it up. And so that way on election day, they're pretty much like can't wait to go out and vote. And so that's kind of like what I would suggest.
Yes.
What else? And then just want to make sure in terms of what's going on in the Bahamas, I want to make sure I bring that up, because, the situation that's going on in the Bahamas is grave. And so most likely the ship that brought the 1,100 Bahamian nationals, they're going to go back out. Most likely they're leaving tomorrow, and then they're going to come back on Monday. And so we don't know how many people that they're gonna come back with. So I was told that there's over like 5,000 people who are waiting to get the opportunity, but it all depends on whether they meet the State Department's criteria in terms of clearing Custom and Border Patrol. So, but for us like I can tell you, last week, we had over 1,100 nationals that came in. There was like close to, and on that boat, there was over 1,500 people that were on that boat. And so within a 8-hour period, we were there as a county to assist the evacuees to get them to their final destination. So it was a coordination with the state in terms of getting them Uber, Lyft. We called Tri-Rail to get Tri-Rail to get them free rides. The Tri-Rail Palm Tran, had a bus to take them to their final to take them to where they needed to go. And so we only ended up with 61 individuals at the end that needed a place to stay. So that's actually not bad for 1,100 people. So 1,100 nationals, and then there was like about 300 U.S. citizens. And so we're getting information on. We're going to be communicating with the folks that are going to be on the ship. So in that way, we're going to try our best to figure out exactly who are going to come and how do we assist and to provide them with the best care that we can in Palm Beach County. Yes, go ahead.
Were the 1,100, was this the port of arrival Fort Lauderdale, or was it Palm Beach?
All Palm Beach County.
Oh, okay.
All Palm Beach County, and we're getting people that are coming pretty much on a daily basis. You have private planes going over, and then so we're getting people every single day that are coming to Palm Beach County. So we're doing the best that we can to try to put them in the right places, and then so in that way, we're also, we have to make sure that we already have a homeless situation, and we don't want to make it worse. So we're really trying our best to try to assist, so in that way we don't impact our current residents in the county. Any questions for me? Yes, ma'am?
Was it 5 days ago perhaps, our government announced that they would not accept people who did not have a visa. And I don't have to tell you, when everything that you own is gone, what do you do to document who you are? And I wrote to a couple of legislators who did not hear anything back, other than thank you for your letter, but
Thank you very much.
but what have you heard about that situation? Anything new?
So what I've been told is that, they have the embassy that's in the Bahamas, and so they're opening up the embassy so that way people can go to the embassy so they can go and get the passport. And I'm sure the one thing that I can be honest with you is just the fact that you have an administration that is anti-immigrant, and that wants to do everything in their power to prevent those individuals from being able to get the help and the resources that they need. And so what they're doing is like, they're telling the Bahamian government, in order for us to assist you, you need to keep the people there. And so this is what's going on behind the scene, where they're putting the pressure on the Bahamian government to basically almost like lie to the people that conditions are better than they will be, because the administration does not want the people to come here, and so that's what's going on. Even the ship that was about when it left on Friday night, we had to fight with the administration because the administration was fighting. The ship was supposed to leave at 12:30 Saturday morning, or early in the morning, and the administration, which is Trump, he did not want the ship to leave. And so because the ship had news media on board, and so it put the pressure on him to allow the ship to leave. And then the ship was supposed to get here around 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I was up that whole night just like you know, working with my county staff and everything to see how we can help. And then he, like the administrator, of course, was like, there's no way he's gonna let any of those people off that ship. This is what life is about, the way, and so, but, you know, the good Lord, you know, works in a different way, and so the people did get off the ship, and so we're able to assist the evacuees the best way that we can. We're not perfect, but, you know, the good people of this county, the state of Florida, and the United States, you know, really are helping the best way possible under the current circumstance. Yes, Arlene?
Did Scott and Rubio send a letter on the behest of, oh, I like it, what is it, Sherwin Jones, to say, let the Bahamians come because they have families in this country to, as one of the vectors to get them safe. Did they ever get a response to that? Do you know?
No. But what I can tell you, because like as my job is as the mayor of the county and working with, you know, our elected officials, you know, I know that, you know, Senator Rick Scott and Senator Rubio, they're doing the best that they can and to try to make sure that they're assisting every which way possible. However, we do have an administration that, it's not just that, it's just like, they don't know who's doing what, and it's just like, everything is just more like, they're like cheerleaders, but they don't really get things done. And so, and then even we have some of the best congressional representatives in like Congresswoman Lois Frankel, Congressman Alcee Hastings, Congressman Ted Deutsch. They're working hard on behalf of the residents of Palm Beach County, you know, to make sure that our residents are taken care of, but at the same time, to help the evacuees that come from the Bahamas. Yes, sir?
Given that the Trump administration was trying to send back Haitian hurricane refugees.
Right. And earthquake. A lot of
Earthquake,
the
yeah,
earthquake
the
evacuees
earthquake.
went to the Bahamas.
I meant really earthquake, the devastating earthquake. I would think that's going to be motivating to the Haitian community to vote against Republican president. Vote against Trump, who's a racist.
Well, what I can tell you is that they can't wait. So they cannot wait. So we'll create that rhythm soon for you.
When do you start that?
Early voting?
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just thinking, and I said before that Trump said, what have you got to lose? Okay, well, people that didn't know in advance what they had to lose, now they know.
But you know, the thing is, the truth of the matter is, you know, we have to work hard to get every vote, and you know, because of the fact that, you know, this country is very divided, and so, you know, Trump's got his issues but even though he's got issues, they're still voting for him.
Yes.
And so, you know, if we get our voters out, you know, we have to get our voters out to win. Yes, sir.
So, voting in Florida, there's a lot of cynical people, it doesn't matter, it's all rigged, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
We've also got Andrew Gillum saying, I'm going to help get 1 million people registered to vote.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what you're aware of in terms of mobilizing non-voters to be registered.
Well, I can give you what we're gonna have a conference call with Mr. Andrew Gillum's team, Mary Gillum's team tomorrow, and what we're trying to do is coordinate a day of service. I think we're trying to do it for October 27th.
Who is we?
The Palm Beach County Black elected officials are going to do a day of service, and so we're going to go to as many churches in Palm Beach County to get people registered to vote, and so Andrew's gonna be there, and we're gonna go to as many churches as possible. So we have a conference call tomorrow to finalize the detail, but, you know, that's something that we're working on, because we want everybody to be registered to vote. And so in that way, because, you know, if you're not registered, then, you know, then it's very hard to, you know, to get people to vote. Barbara?
I don't have a question, but I want to thank Mayor Mike Bernard for his work in the Palm Beach County as an elected official, and Dr. Lafalaise and Mr. Philippe.
Mr. Augustine.
Augustine, I'm sorry.
That's good, that's good. Hey,
Somebody's Philippe here. Yeah. If I were to go back to the Haitian-American experience,
Yes.
I know you've mentioned many issues the Haitians faced in Haiti. What I know if you hear that means that you are very involved in the community. Let's not forget that the Haitians have a voice in the county. They have Mayor Mike Bernard as a voice. They have State Representative Al Duquette has a voice.
Yes, ma'am.
They have Commissioner Christina Ramirez as a voice.
Right.
So they do know the people who care about the issues they care about.
Right.
And if you're gonna show up to the community and tell them that you care when you need their vote, it's not gonna happen. They know that, they're not buying it anymore. Don't tell them you're giving them a center, don't tell them you're giving them whatever, they're not falling for it. And if we're gonna focus on getting the people to vote, when was your election, Mayor?
2016.
2016, we had a grassroots of Haitians who came out to vote. And these people were targeted as fraud voters because they were being oppressed. And the Democratic Party did not stand with these people. Those are Democrats that were voting in an election. So if these people come out to vote in 2020, when the media comes knock on their doors to intimidate them, to oppress them, then we need to stand with them as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't show up to their churches, don't show up to their communities and ask them for votes when you need their votes. And when they need you to stand with them, you staying quiet and they're being targeted by the media, constantly knocking on their doors, tell them that somebody help them fill their ballots, like these people don't have a voice. They do know the people who care about them. And I want you all to know that. So if you're gonna involve those Haitians, then you need to be there for them through thick and thin. Not just when you are winning as Democrat. It's not gonna happen. They're not buying it anymore. And I thank you for your work. I thank you too for your involvement, because it takes a lot of work to get my community involved. When I say my community, I mean Haitian people involved.
You are Haitian?
My parents are Haitian. I'm sorry, my parents are Haitian.
Just kidding.
And when they put their heart when they put their heart into something they're passionate about,
Yes.
just don't take them for granted, and don't take it for granted. It's not only about a party. We need to respect these people's vote when they vote, and when they're being targeted, please stand with them.
But let me explain to you why. See, here's the issue that happened in 2016. You know, during the election, you know, people were just like, because so many Haitians came out to vote. You know, people were just like saying that there must have been something fraud, and so they had sheriffs coming to their doors. They had investigators coming to the door. But then when you turn, so what happened was, so now you have to understand, now you come to 2018, and, you know, because of the fact that what you did in 2016, now people don't want to come out and vote.
That's right.
You know, and the party did not stand with the people. And then, however, during the election in 2018, you know, the people that you didn't stand with is the reason why, you know, because you didn't address those issues in 16, that's how, you know, those votes didn't get to be counted in 2018. You know, so the issues that, you know, that they were saying that these people were voting because their signatures didn't match, but when when they needed the party to step up to support them, the party did not. However, in 2018, when it was more convenient because of, you know, when you saw that, wow, all these signatures didn't match because of the way that they had set it up, the party went to the courts and everything, and so to fix it, but those people in 16, the party didn't support them at all. They had sheriff officers showing to their door because they exercised their right to vote. And so that's why,
Voter
Barbara,
suppression.
and that was pure voter suppression that happened. Yeah.
Who sent the sheriff?
We're still trying to.
Yeah, but that's what they did. They sent the sheriff, and they did, and so now, because I'm just telling
Democrat
you.
won in that last election anyway.
Not here.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, but
Not
go ahead.
here.
can I give a good note here in that, we felt that disconnect, so 3 of us started the Haitian-American Culture
Yes, I remember.
Day,
Good job.
and Mac was one of the speakers, and I think we had about 500 people come through, and it was to showcase the Haitian culture, and it was seeking to have civic engagement, and it was so electric, it was rhythmic, and it's a start, because what I want to say, the next thing that's happening is on September 21st, a Saturday, at Delray Public Library, with Welcoming Week. There's going to be Christine Campbell-Gabor is with the League of Women Voters. She's brought the civic education to it, and she's going to be doing a workshop on your voice, your power, your vote. We want everybody to come to this. So let's, to start a little trill for the rhythm to go. It started, and so these are little peaks, and we want to keep it going. So I hope that whoever you know, for all communities to come on September 21st.
Where is that?
It's going to be at the Delray Public Library,
At what time?
Debate time.
11 till 12:30. I thought I probably sent out a lot of my flyers, but anyway, we worked very hard for that, in a sense of belonging.
So, this wonderful young woman who just, who shared with us her point of view, I take it very, very much to heart.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Can you state your name?
My name is Barbara Benedict.
Barbara Benedict.
Yes.
She's good.
Barbara,
It's a pleasure, Ms. Benedict.
thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, sir.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes.
What I want to, we've never met before, Barbara, so my name is Bob Abarak, and I'm the zone leader for Delray Beach and Gulfstream for the Palm Beach County Democratic Party, responsible for the 22,000 Democrats and 40 electoral precincts, including, very important precincts in the Haitian community. So a couple of things I wanted to bring you up to speed on is, the party has taken it to heart too, especially in Florida. And Florida has now become one of the first 3 states in the country to hire a full-time voter protection director and team that is available 52 weeks a year to deal with voter suppression, intimidation, any kind of tactics. And there's a toll-free number to call if anything happens. But the other thing that I want to tell you is, personally, that the statement that you only come to us when you need a vote, I get it. And in the 2.5 years that I've been zone leader, I've made it my initiative, where I can, right here in Delray Beach, to eradicate that from our future.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to make a personal promise to you.
Oh,
And I
no.
will give you.
To the community, I was only, they were not here to speak for themselves, so I was only a voice. But
But you pass it.
we are all doing
But you
it.
pass it on. Pass it on.
And it is a promise to the community
Yes.
that if any of this nonsense goes on in the future, I want to call. The first call goes to voter protection, the second call comes to me, and I will be there at lightning speed to make sure that the Haitian community is treated no differently from the Jewish, Italian, African-American, or any other community here in Delray Beach. You have my absolute promise.
Well, it is said that we have 330,000 Haitians living in South Florida, meaning from Port St. Lucie all the way down to Miami. So a lot of us are, citizens, U.S. citizens, so we have a lot to work with.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for inviting me. And, thank you for everything. I want to talk to you because you see what's happening is that the youth of the Haitian youth or the Haitian young people, a lot of them are Americanized, they're well, integrated, assimilated, I would use.
Oh, yeah.
They don't listen to the Haitian radio. You follow? So a lot of them, when they think you're not involved, you are really involved, just like the difference. But we want to thank you and thank you for everything. Thank you for inviting me. And Mr. Philip, thank you very much. And Mr. Luttrell, thank you for everything. And maybe next time we will give you a lecture. But thank you.
There are lots of cookies back here, guys.
Please eat the cookies.
I'm gonna tell you,